Well, several countries around the world have been accused of taking advantage of the global pandemic to deprive their citizens of some basic freedoms. Quarantine is widely considered necessary, but there is evidence that even basic civil rights, including free speech, are being eroded by autocratic regimes. Here's our senior international correspondent, John Irvine.
For millions of the world's poorest people, it isn't so much a lockdown as a crackdown. Pictures like these have become all too familiar as some police forces adopt harsh, humiliating measures to enforce new curbs on freedoms ordered by their political masters. For a third of the world's population, gone is freedom of movement and freedom of assembly. In some countries, freedom of speech is also under threat. Civil rights experts fear that without international agreement on what's appropriate, the world's authoritarian leaders are having a field day.
What we really need to see is, in a sense, a growing international consensus on what, where democracy is concerned, is a reasonable set of restrictions. What's necessary and proportionate and what isn't.
Coronavirus claimed its first democracy at the end of March when the Hungarian parliament agreed to allow Prime Minister Viktor Orbán to rule by decree indefinitely. Not only can he suspend all existing laws, he can stifle dissent by jailing those deemed to have spread false information. In Israel, the measures adopted have been effective, but civil liberties groups fear the price may be too high. Drones have been used to enforce quarantine laws. Also, mobile phone surveillance techniques, normally confined to the fight against terrorism, are now being used to spy on anyone deemed a health threat. The steps taken have led to protests. There's concern about the conduct of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who, among other things, has closed most courts, including the one that was about to hear his trial on corruption charges. These pictures from Pakistan show the police arresting and beating up doctors who got together to protest over a lack of decent equipment. Coronavirus, it seems, has become freedom's biggest enemy. With every country preoccupied by its own problems, the threat to civil liberties worldwide is obvious. We're all being told that these emergency measures are needed to save us, but who, if anyone, is looking out for democracy's well-being? John Irvine, ITV News, Tel Aviv.
The Australian government has launched a coronavirus tracing app which uses Bluetooth signals to log when people have been close to someone who may be infected. The health minister said the app would help Australia get back to normal, but it's been criticised by civil liberties groups as an invasion of privacy. Mr Hunt, however, insisted that data gathered by the device would be accessed only by state health officials.